So I just left the mechanic, got to get some work done on my car. I took it up there, they quoted me, and the price they quoted me was $460. It made me raise an eyebrow just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. But then I got to thinking, okay, do I have $460 on hand? Yes, I do. Go ahead and do the work. I'll take it up there this weekend. They'll knock it out. The second thought I had was $460 is still cheaper than having a car note. Still cheaper than having a car note. In fact, $460 is about $300 cheaper than the average car note. The average car note today is $750, and that gave me ultimate relief. My car's about 10 years old, right? It's completely paid for. There's no car note on this thing. The only thing that I pay for is gas, registration, and insurance. That's it. Obviously, you got to pay for maintenance, but the maintenance on this car is very, very minimal. This is the first maintenance I had to do to this car other than oil changes in the last probably 4 or 5 years. I had some engine work done that was a recall, but I didn't have to pay for that. So this car's been rolling smooth. I got about 156,000 miles on it, and it gets me everywhere I need to go. It gets me from point A to point B to point C, sometimes point D, E, and F. It gets me to where I need it to get me, and I'm grateful for that. I'm extremely grateful for that. I'm happy for that. And I'm glad that I don't have a car payment looming over me because I'm able to pocket that money and do whatever I want to do with it. Paying cash for cars is something I truly believe in, something that I feel like a lot of people should do more of, but refuse to for a plethora of reasons. I want to share a story with y'all. Let's go back to 2008 really quick. I was about 19 years old, fresh into the job market. I had me a little job. I wanted a car, a nicer, newer car, because I had a car already, but it was too old. It was used, it was rusty, it was raggedy. I was embarrassed to drive it, so I wanted to upgrade. I didn't have the credit. I didn't even have any credit established at that time. I had a decent amount of money saved up, but I needed a newer car. I needed to flex, I need to stunt, you know what I'm saying? I'm young and dumb still at the time. So I go to one of the used car lots, one of those buy here, pay here joints, put $500 down, get a 2002 Dodge Intrepid in 2008. In 2008, I financed a 2002 car. Now, that sounds crazy because it is. I didn't know nothing about nothing in terms of finance back in that day. I didn't know about down payments, interest rates, none of that. That car had a 28% interest rate on it, and I willingly paid for it. 6 months later, that car was repossessed. I lost my job at the time because 2008, we all know how terrible the economy was. It was actually worse than it is right now. I got that repossession. Credit went downhill. You live and you learn. Ever since that moment, I've been paying cash for cars. For one, I didn't have a choice. When you don't have the credit or the money to finance a car, you have no choice but to pay cash for cars. So ever since that moment, for the last 17 years, that's what I've done. I've always paid cash for cars. Side note, I do have another vehicle with the car note on it. It's my wife's truck. She carts the kids around majority of the time. It has 1 more year left, and then we're done with that. On top of it, it's a Toyota. We all know the history of Toyotas. They last forever. So once that's paid off, we'll be no free completely. But for me personally, the cars that I drive on a daily basis, they've always been cash cars. They've always been paid for. They've never had car notes because I know exactly how much money I could save by not paying for them. Initially, it started off by just having no other choice, but as I got smarter with money and started to understand money a little bit more, I said, whoa, this is a big waste of money. A lot of people have car notes and willingly pay for them because that's just what they feel like they should do. A lot of people want nicer, newer cars to appeal to their peers and those around them. And it's unfortunate. The average car note I mentioned is $750, and that's just average. So some are $800, some are $1,200, $1,500, even $2,000 for a car note that you have to pay every single month. And the average loan is about 60 months, 60, 72 months. So that's like 5-6 years, and people are willingly paying that with about a 6 to 8% interest rate on it. And that's just something I can't bring myself to doing. Like, we all know cars depreciate. Cars are the most depreciating asset there is. Like, the fact that you even call it an asset is crazy because they generally never go up in value. It's very, very rare. Only specific cars go up in value as they age and as you use them more. Cars are meant to get you to where you need to go. Yes, safety is important, right? So sometimes you don't want an older, used, unreliable car, but there's always good used cars. And honestly, if you maintain your cars properly, you can have them for as long as you want, especially depending on the car. We all know what Hondas do. We all know what Toyotas do. I'll share another story with y'all. When I was getting my money together, when I was completely figuring it out, we'll go back to 2016 now. I mentioned I didn't have a car at that time because I had an older used car before, but I had an accident. I wrecked the car and I was without a car. I was also broke, so I didn't necessarily have the money to even pay for another new, to me, used cash car. So at that time, I had to buy a car, but I didn't have the money. So my mother-in-law, she actually had a car that she wasn't using. She had a car that she wasn't using, and she allowed me to pay $1,000 for that car. I didn't have $1,000 on hand, so she let me pay her $100 per month for 10 months. So technically, I guess I did have a car payment, but that's neither here nor there. It took me 10 months to pay for $1,000 car, and that was in 2016. I stopped driving that car back in 2021. So I rode that car from 2016 to 2021, and the most money I put into it was about $2,600 in maintenance. That's it. That's all. It was a Buick LeSabre. I actually made a video on it. I'll probably link it at the end for y'all to check out, but that was my baby. That car helped me get on my feet. That car got me around. That car helped me get to all of my new job and employment opportunities, and it was something that I was very, very excited and prideful about because, for one, I used to get talked about a lot. Because of that car, and I didn't care. A lot of people would be like, why are you driving this old car? This car is 20 years old, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, you know what? I don't have a car note. That was my rebuttal every time. I don't have a car note. I don't have a car note. The car was clean on top of that. It was clean. It was functional. It did what I needed to do, what cars should do. It just takes you to where you need to go. Like, yes, I'm a car guy. I understand having a nicer, newer car. Like, it feels good. It looks good. But it's a time and a place for that. It's truly a time and a place for that. Unless you save up and pay cash for the car you actually want, going out and taking out these crazy loans on depreciating assets is just mind-blowing to me. The average car price is about $45,000 if I'm not mistaken, and that's extremely inflated even from the last 5 years ago. $45,000 for a vehicle is nuts. That usually comes with higher insurance premiums because you got to get full coverage. It comes with a lot more than just the car payment. Most people look at the payment, the amount they can pay each month, and if that number is okay to them, then that's fine. But they don't never look at the overall picture of, like, what is this going to cost me over 5 years? Or after they pay off their car, most people typically roll over into a new loan. They'll trade the car in after 5 years. Like, all of the value is pretty much gone at that point. You're trading it in, you're selling for less, and then you roll into another 5-year loan, which you can never really get ahead that way. I would say if people didn't have car notes, they would be so much further ahead, but people love their cars. They love their car notes. They love looking good at the stoplight to impress strangers who don't care nothing about them, who don't know nothing about them. You're literally never going to see these people ever again in life. They're just bypassers in traffic, and you want to impress them for what? That's something you should think about. I completely understand because I've been there. I've done that. I talked about my story in the past where you do kind of want to flex and stun and impress people and feel good and look good. I understand all of that, but where I am right now, where a lot of people are, why not pocket that money? Paying cash for cars has saved me so much money over the years. So much money. I've been able to invest a little bit more, been able to pay off a lot more debt, been able to save for a rainy day, right? Put money up for my emergency fund, all because I had no car note. Imagine what you can do with no car note if you was able to keep that money instead of giving it to the banks. All they're gonna do is what most people should do and invest that money. They're going to take that payment you give them, turn it back around, lend it out to somebody else, rinse and repeat. Why not keep that money? Car payments are most people's largest expense. Second largest expense, actually, next to housing, which I understand, but it's such a common thing. It's so normalized, especially here in America. Car payment, debt, etc. We might have to change that, especially in these times, because I mentioned depreciating asset, money flying out the door, diminishing returns. So $750. The average car payment. Let's do some quick math real quick, then I'll let y'all get out of here. $750 times 12 That's $9,000, right? That's for 1 year, $750 times 12, $9,000. Multiply that by 5 years, which is the average loan term. That's $45,000. Like I mentioned, the average car price, $45,000 over 5 years, right? What can you do with $45,000? Imagine if you didn't have that car payment, if you wasn't paying that $750 every month for 5 years straight. What could you do with that extra $45,000? Could you pay off some other debt with it? Could you save it for an emergency fund? Could you invest it and let that money multiply and work for you versus working against you and just going into thin air into a depreciating asset? That's something you should think about moving forward. It's something I think about it all the time, honestly. I think about it all the time because I know how much money I've saved over the last decade or so by driving used cars, right? Paying cash for cars. It's just, I think that'll never go out of style in my book. It'll never go out of style. And that's just something you should think about, especially in today's time and a land full of repossessions. And people are up in arms getting their cars taken away on a daily basis because they're missing payments and they can't afford it. In a land where people are losing their jobs, you just never know what's going to happen. And again, that's just something you should think about. Like this video if you like it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I go by the name of Q. And like I always say, if Q can make it happen, you can make it happen. I'll holler at y'all next video. Peace.